Hello, what's on your movie madman, and I'm back. And today's Friday, so we're continuing our censored versus uncut subject today. Today we're going to be talking about films that are edited for adults. Now, I know you might be thinking, how can you edit a film for adults? I'm talking more about films that are cut down a little bit for the cinema, from like an 18 down to a 15, just to make a little bit more money, and then when they're released on Blu-ray or in 4K, they're released uncut. So again, a bit like last week, a lot of you US people might be thinking, well, that was just R-rated in the cinema and nothing was cut out, which is probably true. But I don't live in the US, so I don't know what was cut from their cinema versions, if anything was. So this is more just a BBFC thing. The first one I'm going to mention is a film from the 90s, 1992, Under Siege. The first Under Siege was 15 rated, and then I found out many years later that there were bits that were cut out to make it a 15, and you can actually get it uncut as a 15 now. Yeah, work that out. A lot of the violence was trimmed down quite a bit the first time it was released in the 90s, and then years later they just put those shots back in and re-rated it still as a 15. So I don't really understand what happened there, but still, I'm not one to judge. I will talk a lot more about Under Siege very soon. I did go to grab it out of my collection and then found that I didn't have it, and had a little look on Amazon and you could get both of them for $6.99, so that's on the way. So you've got an unboxing and a review for those films coming too, so it's quite exciting, isn't it? Next one, I do have something to hold up, so there's that. This was the first Saw, which of course is an 18, and even in the cinema it was an 18. Don't get me started on how many different cuts there are of the first Saw. I will post links like I did last week. I'll pop some links on the channel to show you all the different versions there are. A lot of the difference was at the end as well. There was loads of random sentences cut out and conversations and stuff like that, which hasn't got really anything to do with the violence. I'm pretty sure most of the violent bits I'm pretty sure most of the violent bits that were cut out was a close-up of the dead body. I'm pretty sure most of the violence that was cut out, there was a close-up of the dead body's head in the bathroom at the beginning, was cut out, and when Amanda's sifting through those intestines, a lot of that is cut down. But then of course they popped it back in when they released it, even though I'm pretty sure it was in the cinema. But you know what, you all know what was removed from Saw. I've probably mentioned it many times before, but again, it was one of those films that was edited for adults, so it does end up on this list. So there you go, there's that. The next two beauties I have to show you is The Equalizer and The Equalizer 2. These were both cut down to 15s in the cinema, and then when they were released in 4K, only in 4K as well, can you get these uncut. If you were to buy this on Blu-ray, you would still get the edited 15 versions, but if you get them in 4K, you get them uncut, which is quite exciting. A lot of it is just focused on violence, like especially in this one, a lot of the stuff that was trimmed down was just a man being punched in the face over and over and over and over again. And it was shot from a different angle and all that sort of thing, and you see a bit more detail in the 18 version. There's also a bit where this man gets a corkscrew through his chin, and there's a few more close-ups of that, as well as him twisting it while it's up his chin and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I know a lot more about this one, that's why I've not really said much about this one, because there's only like 3 seconds that was cut out of The Equalizer 2. But again, I will be popping those Movie-Censorship.com links online, so you can But again, I will be posting the Movie Censorship links for you, so you can have a look as well. Next up, we have a British film for you, a British comedy. Why would you cut a comedy down in the cinema? Well, when you know it's the In-Betweeners movie, you could probably start to understand that this was probably cut down in the cinema. This was definitely cut down quite a bit in the cinema, to be fair, so that they could make it a 15. I think one of the main reasons they did that was just to open the market up to a few more people, because to be fair, not many people that are over the age of 15 really enjoy the In-Betweeners anymore anyway. I think it's just a bit aged now, but that doesn't matter. You know, I can still watch this and enjoy it and laugh at it. This is probably as far as I would go with the In-Betweeners. I wasn't the biggest fan of the series, but the film was good fun. I quite enjoyed the film. There's a lot of sexual content that was removed from this to make it a 15. Again, Movie-Censorship.com is your friend if you want to see what was cut. I'm not going to mention it on here because certain little nephews watch this channel as well, and I'm not digging into that, sorry. There's an extra C-bomb in this as well when you see the 18 version. At the end, when Theo James threatens Jay in the bar. In the 15 version he calls him a scrawny little shit, and in the 18 version he doesn't call him that. So there's that as well. So it's the In-Betweeners for you. In-Betweeners movie, the first one. They did cut the second one down in the cinema as well, and then when they released it onto Blu-ray they just kept the edited version, a bit like those lost cuts that I mentioned a couple of weeks ago. It ended up being one of them. I probably could have put that on that list instead of this one, but I've never seen the uncut version of the second In-Betweeners movie because allegedly it doesn't exist. It was one of those ones that went out internationally, so there's that. Stop talking about the In-Betweeners now. Now there's a little list here. Films on this list are films like The Rules of Attraction, The Conjuring 3, John Wick Chapter 2 and The Invisible Man. They were all cut for the same reason. The BBFC have got this really funny thing about a certain type of suicide that you watch on screen, and if you see it, there's no way, I don't think, well, at the moment there's no way that those shots will ever be in a 15 rated movie, so they're just cut down for the cinema. Very rarely are those shots put back into the film, but in these cases they are, and in The Rules of Attraction and The Conjuring 3 they're both put back in as well, and all pushed up to 18. So this is only an 18 because of that shot, as is John Wick Chapter 2. I'm not going to go into too much detail about those suicidal shots because, you know, we don't really want to talk about suicide on this channel, but again, I will post those links for you so you can have a little look if you're interested in that sort of thing. I don't know, you might not be interested, well, especially when you look at The Rules of Attraction. There's a lot of close-up details in that, so do approach those links with caution, yeah. So when I was going about looking at these films that were edited for adults, turned out there was thousands more than I actually originally thought there were. So many. So I just picked out the ones that I know about the most. So I'm sorry if that sounds really selfish, but if you go on, like I've mentioned this website thousands of times, if you do go on to movie-censorship.com, there is a lot of details on there about a lot of films that were cut down for the cinema, or films that are just cut still. There's a lot of them, so do dig into that website. There will be more censored versus uncut films to go. I've got a long list for you next week. One of my favourite subjects is next week, so you've got that to look forward to, I hope. But I'm going to say that's it for today. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'm going to fuck off, okay? Goodbye.